Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 2 in the 2019 Haas IndyCar Series. We're here at the Phoenix International Raceway for the Phoenix Grand Prix. 50 laps of action here today around this 1-mile oval in Avondale, Arizona. And 30 drivers in the field looking to get the second win of the season. Of course, this race from last year is a little bit different. Last year we raced at the original Phoenix. This year we move on to the 2011 version of the Phoenix International Raceway, and we extend the race by 10 laps. It's now 50 laps long, and there should be pit stops in this thing as well. So it's going to be a crazy race for the second race of the season. I'm alongside Luke Rainey, 2017 Indianapolis 250 champion. I believe you might be the first driver, first Indy 250 champion, I should say, I've ever co-commentated with, so you're going to know this series very well. He also won the championship in this series a couple of years ago. So here at Phoenix, we get a lot of 3, we get a lot of 4 wide, and lots of times they don't figure it out. What do you do to avoid a situation like that here at this tight racetrack?
I think a lot of it comes down to the mental game. I mean, you first have to just make sure that you're putting yourself in a situation you can get out of if it's really that much of a problem. But I think a lot of it's also lane decision. You got to try and get down to that bottom groove. That's normally the place you're going to want to be. And normally the inside line is also the place you want to be to avoid trouble. So that's going to come into play, I think, later today.
Will, these guys do tend to shoot up the racetrack a little bit, use that higher line, and the higher line actually does work here at Phoenix as well, so they're going to be all over the place, and it's anybody's game here in this 50-lap event. Here are the point standings after the first race of the season. They don't mean too much at this point of the season, but still important to discuss it. Davey Johnson, the points leader, 51 points towards the championship. He holds an 11-point lead ahead of Justin Zaidel. Jose Mills is 12 points behind. Colton Yeo, 19 points behind. Landon Lyons, 21 points behind after the Daytona Road Course race. It's the first oval of the season. Next week, we also go to an oval in at the Auto Club. Not Indianapolis, but it is one of the crown jewel events of the season, the MAV TV 100. That's going to be next Saturday morning. But here on this Friday afternoon, ready to get this one rolling for the Phoenix Grand Prix in the 2019 NOFSRL Haas IndyCar Series. Richard Kingart in the number 13, starting on the pole position here tonight. Alongside him, it's the number 60, Landon Lyons. Landon Lyons has been doing pretty good in the IndyCar stuff. He won his debut race in the Indy Light Series last year. Got a top 5 run in his debut in the IndyCar Series at the Daytona Road Course 3 weeks ago. So watch out for Landon Lyons this season. He might be a threat for the championship. Thomas Troxel alongside veteran driver Al Agassi in the number 20. Run number 3, we got Tyler Riddy, who won at Pikes Peak last year alongside the 26 machine driven by Angel Olvera. We got Igor Barreto and Jonathan King in run number 4, Dan Park and Davey Johnson in the number 66, who won 3 weeks ago at the Daytona Road Course and comes into this race the points leader in the Haas IndyCar Series. Make sure everybody's rolling off. We want to make sure of that because this is probably like the 5th time we've tried to get the start of this race going on here. We've had some issues, but hopefully we finally get it going here at Phoenix for the Phoenix Grand Prix. Qualifying earlier today was won by Richard Kingart. He's going to lead the field of the green flag, and as the pace car rolls off, we're green flag racing in the desert for the Haas IndyCar Series. Kingart with the bonus point. The outside lane works very well through turns 3 and 4, and he got it to work there on the first lap to get a bonus point towards the championship. But here comes Thomas Troxel in the 17 with Tyler O'Riddy right behind him. These guys are going significantly faster than the Cup guys are going to be going tomorrow, so this race, if it goes caution-free, which I doubt it will, is going to be significantly faster than tomorrow's race time-wise. But Troxel, bonus point for him right there. He's now 3 wide on the outside. Tyler O'Riddy in the middle, as here comes the 19 of Igor Barreto, 3 wide for the lead here at Phoenix.
I'll tell you what, Tyler O'Riddy, he almost got spun out from behind. I believe it was lap 1 or lap 2. I mean, really close racing so far. As you can see, 3 wide for 3rd place heading off turn 4.
Practically the entire run here.
Making some
and
contact
that's not going to work too well for O'Riddy. A little bit of a wall ride for him there. That might not bring out the caution, though. They kept on going, and it will not. So that's going to really change things up. A tough break for Tyler O'Reilly. Did not get the yellow flag he would have needed for that. He falls to the end of the field. Here comes Justin Zaidel, 3 wide to the inside. Leads that lap. He was runner-up at Daytona 3 weeks ago. And now he's the leader here at Phoenix on lap 5.
And what a tough break that was for Tyler O'Reilly. And I'll tell you what, no caution came out there because they weren't fully sideways. That sometimes happens. And here we have pretty much a different race now. This whole field is spread out because of that incident. So we'll see how that's going to change the way this goes.
And that's a good thing. These guys are very antsy going 3 and 4 wide and whatnot. And the farther spread out they are, the least likely it is they will wreck again. So hopefully they can keep it clean from now on. But that's a tough break for O'Reilly and Thomas Troxel as well. Both of those guys started inside the top 5 for this race. They are now at the end of the field, and they're not going to get a lot of points here today at Phoenix. Not a good way to start off the championship run for those guys. How about Dan Park? It's been a long time since this guy's run on Napa Fan, but he's back, and he's doing a pretty good job here at Phoenix on lap 7, leading the field ahead of Igor Brito, Justin Zaidel. And how about this guy, the number 21 of Nathan Faden? Faden running in the 4th position right now, and our pole sitter Richard Kinghart in the 5th position. A lot of guys who have a decent amount of experience on Napa Fan, but they're not the Jesse Turner Matt Delios of the channel, and here they are with a great opportunity at winning this race here at Phoenix and possibly even winning the championship. And not a lot of those veterans are in this series, so this series is a huge opportunity for these guys, and this race a huge opportunity for a lot of points. Yellow on the racetrack. 27 of Noah Clifton going around, and I believe the number 6 machine of Christian Vargas got a piece of it as well. And our first yellow of the day here at Phoenix on lap 9 of 50, actually lap 8 of 50 officially. But Dan Park, I think he's led the most laps so far in this race in number 23, doing a good job there in the Carlin entry.
I'll tell you what, based on where the skid marks started from, I believe Noah Clifton, very odd that it started in the middle of the back straightaway. It wasn't right off turn 2, so I'm going to be interested to see what happened there to bring out this caution.
Yeah, we'll see what happened after we get the pit stops here, because it looks like these guys are going to be coming down. This might be the only stop. We got 2x on the pit stops for a lot of these races, and I know in the Cup race, we're probably going to have, I think, about a 35 lap fuel window. The fuel's a little bit different for the Indy cars, but I don't know, it could be close here. They might have to make another stop after this one. We're just going to have to see. It will be after, or actually, should I say, under 40 laps to go when we get back to racing. So we'll have to see how it all goes down for these guys with the fuel. But it looks like they're going to take tires. Dion Moon, or should I say Dan Park. I made that mistake earlier on, and in one of our prior recordings, that is the 23 of Dan Park, not the 22 of Dion Moon. Dan Park comes down the race leader. We'll see where he comes at in relation to everybody else. He's not going to leave the race leader. This is going to be the number 17. No, he just stayed out there. He's on the tail end. It's 21 who won the race off. Nathan Faden. With Joe Rutkowski running 2nd now, and then the 88 of Colton Yo and the 7 machine of Audra Baranowskis. So a bit of strategy play out of these guys. And that is definitely going to affect the outcome of this race for everyone involved. And we got a new leader. It's the 21 of Nathan Faden, as the 17's on the tail end of the lead lap because he was involved in that accident earlier on. We're trying to figure everything out here at Phoenix. I know I seem a little scatterbrained, but we're going to figure out this wreck for you guys with Noah Clifton and Christian Vargas. First caution of the day here at Phoenix. Let's see what happened to bring it out in the Phoenix Grand Prix. Well, you see right here, Thomas Troxel's back out on the racetrack. He's a lap down at this point from a prior accident. He had come down the pit lane and repair it, and apparently Christian Vargas was a little too fast for him. Got into him, clipped Troxel down, and Clifton was there at the wrong place and the wrong time. And you see the 27 hard into the outside wall, through the dog leg down the backstretch. And didn't work out too well for Clifton. A lot of damage on that race car. But the thing about this IndyCar mod, it doesn't take damage too well. They could literally, like, explode, and the car would still look the same as it did when it started the race. But either way, I can tell you Noah Clifton's not going to be as fast as everybody else after that one. A lot of damage to the 27, and Christian Vargas unfortunately caught up on that one as well.
All right, so as you can see, they're heading off turn 2, and there you see the contact on the outside line, and really nothing Noah Clifton could have done to prevent that from happening. And that's a lot of damage. Both ends of that race car pretty heavily damaged. I don't know if he's going to be able to continue after this one. He was able to drive away, so he should be good to go to at least drive around, but he definitely won't be keeping up with the leaders.
I will say we've had cars in this series, at Auto Club especially, where they have flipped and they have kept on going to finish in the top 10. The damage in this mod isn't the greatest, but, you know, I think Noah Clifton should be able to continue, even though he was rather torn up. A lot of that happened at the back of his race car, which is where the engine is on these cars, but I don't know if the game knows that, so when you have a NASCAR game and you put an IndyCar mod on it, things just get a little weird. And if you've watched this series long enough, you've seen those weird things happen. But either way, the leader of the race is the 21 of Nathan Faden. Took a little strategy to jump the top 3. He's going to lead us to the restart here in the Phoenix Grand Prix within 40 laps to go here for the second race of the season in the 2019 Haas IndyCar Series. We're back here at the Phoenix Grand Prix in the Haas IndyCar Series 2019, the second race of the season. And we got some new guys running up front. Nathan Faden in the number 21 went fuel only on his stop to surpass the leader Dan Park. Dan Park's going to be starting at about 8th for this restart. But it is Nathan Faden, Joe Rutkowski, Colton Yeo, Audra Baranowskis. How about the number 59 machine of Jose Mills? He did really good at Daytona, finished 3rd there. Well, now he's running 5th here at Phoenix with a shot at victory. Number 3 machine of Keyshawn Richardson. And then there was your eventual winner back to the line, Dan Park, restarting in the 8th position. We are back to racing here at Phoenix, and Joe Rutkowski gonna push Nathan Faden past the 17 of Thomas Troxel. Was on the tail end right there. He actually might have been a lap down, and as you can see, he is very slow. You gotta watch out for this guy. He is going to be a bother for a lot of these guys on the racetrack as they go 4 wide trying to get around him. Oh, yeah, it didn't work.
We're in turn 4.
And that is Dan Park, who was caught up in that one. The strategy did not work, and I know these guys want to get Thomas Troxel off the racetrack at this point because that was 100% his fault. He's been involved in all 3 of the accidents we've had so far in this race. All 3 of them.
Just tell he was trying to get out of the way with the way he was pulling high there, but they were going 4 wide, and really, as a lap car, you should be knowing what's happening behind you in that situation.
Yeah, they might call him in. If I had the choice to call him in, I would. I am technically the race official, but it's a little difficult to do. Joe Rutkowski won the race back to the line, able to surpass Nathan Faden. And only 2 guys involved in that one, Audra Baranowskis and Dan Park. I keep on doing it. I'm going to be doing this a lot this season, aren't I? Dan Park, and Dan Park, of course, was the race leader when we had the first caution. Lost the lead due to strategy and then got caught up in the accident. That's got to be frustrating for Dan Park and Audra Baranowskis as well in the 7. The good thing is I think Thomas Troxel will be at the end of the field, so he won't come into play until a little bit later after the next restart. I don't think we're going to end up with any pit stops since those guys came down just then, so let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the second caution. A quick one here at the Phoenix Grand Prix. You see right here, they were 4 wide. Audra Baranowskis in the middle of Thomas Troxel and Dan Park, and Igor Beretta was there as well, but he really didn't have much to do with it. And Baranowskis is actually the one who causes this accident, not Thomas Troxel. Baranowskis got into the 23 machine of Dan Park and shot them up in the Troxel. Troxel was actually just an innocent victim in this one, but they were trying to get around him, and Baranowskis got shot in between those guys, and that is what caused that situation. It's a tough break for Dan Park especially, because he probably was the guy to win this race if it played out from there on out, but that wasn't the case. And Baranowskis in the 7, all torn up after that one. Not a good day for her in the Smith-Peterson entry.
Troxel, he's on the high side, and as you said, really just, it wasn't his fault right there. They made contact with side, and Dan Park was really a part of the cause of that one, as well as Audra Baranowskis, and that was a hard hit for all 3 of them, but they were all able to drive away. Tough break, though, for everybody involved.
Really wasn't that tough of a break for Thomas Troxel. He was already in last place anyway. It's just a more torn-up race car for him now, so it's a tough break for that really neat-looking scheme. I like that scheme. Took some time for me to look at it, but that's a really good-looking scheme. I like it. But either way, Joe Rutkowski's number 1 right now. He won the race back. We didn't have any pit stops under the caution, so he should lead the field of the green flag when we come back to the Phoenix International Raceway in the second race of the season in the 2019 Haas IndyCar Series. We're back here at Phoenix after a one-lap restart and a quick caution afterwards. We're going to be back to racing on lap 18 of 50. Still not quite halfway here at Phoenix. And our first cautions in quite a while. Our first cautions on APAFAM since we had wrecks in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series race at Atlanta. We went caution-free all last weekend at Las Vegas. Same can't be said for Phoenix this weekend so far. But either way, Joe Rakowski, the race leader. We got the 21 and Nathan Faden right behind him, Colton Yo. The number 3 at Keyshawn Richardson. And how about the 29? First time mentioning him all race, Nick Smith. In the top 5 with Igor Barreto. The 59 machine, driven by Jose Mills. The 10 of Justin Zaidel. The 12 of Jeremiah Earls, and the 26 of Angel Olvera. That's the top 10 as they restart. Rakowski holding on to the race lead for now. Faden trying to draft on him and get around him on lap 18.
And Faden's going to make that move. Rakowski up the track. He might have even bumped him up there. Side by side off 4. Rakowski's going to have the momentum, and he should be able to maintain the lead.
That outside lane is magic through turns 3 and 4, but it's not as good through turns 1 and 2. But I think generally it is the preferred line here, and you're going to see that tomorrow in the Cup race as well, especially considering how slow those guys go. But either way, here comes Keyshawn Richardson. How about him? Moving his way through the field pretty well in that number 3 machine, and he's going to try to get to the inside of his teammate for the race lead. It is Rakowski and Richardson. And Keyshawn's going to try to get to the inside of Joe for the first position. He's got the run, and they're side by side on lap 20.
Not over yet, though. He's got to be able to complete the job in turns 3 and 4. We'll see if he's able to get it done. Rakowski with a bad entry. That's going to help out Keyshawn, but he's going to have some pressure from behind.
How about Justin Zaidel? I think he might have been one of those guys who took tires, so he's able to work that inside lane a little bit better than these guys ahead of him. And in the wall!
In the wall! Oh, my
And that's not going to bring out a caution. They kept on going straight. Keyshawn Richardson and Joe Rakowski getting together, and that just might be a product of them not taking tires on their pit stop, because they were definitely struggling with their race cars, and they're going to fall to the back of the field. It's the second time today we've had an accident where it did not bring out a caution. They go so fast, they just keep on going. And now the race leader is Justin Zaidel, and what a start to his season. Finished second at Daytona, got that second place finish off a pit strategy, and now he's leading the race here at Phoenix just prior to halfway in the Phoenix Grand Prix. Great run for Zaidel in the number 10.
I'll tell you what, about that incident between Rakowski and Keyshawn, rule number 1 racing, don't take out your teammate, and they violated that rule right there. I'm sure it's going to be a tough meeting after the race on Monday, and they're still making some contact back in there. Wow.
A lot of these guys back in here were involved in prior accidents, except for the number 30 there, and the 32. Keyshawn Richardson's actually rebounding pretty well. He's actually still going just as fast as everybody, and so is Rakowski. Like I said, the damage model on these cars is horrific. They could literally go through, I don't know, just anything, and they can still run just as fast as everybody else. And like I've said, I mentioned to Luke on one of the breaks, we had a car, I think it was Cameron Garlington in 2017 at Auto Club. He flipped upside down and still finished top 10 while running in that race. So these cars are durable. They're more durable than the Cup cars, and we're seeing that here today. I think all 30 guys are actually still in this thing running after all the stuff we've had go on here today. That's just how amazing it is. But that's a good thing. Past Phoenix races, we'd obliterate the entire field. We've only had 1 or 2 cautions here today, and looking pretty good right now, knock on wood. We probably will get another one, but Justin Zaidel looking pretty good as well in number 10, holding on to the race lead halfway through the Phoenix Grand Prix.
I'll tell you what, one thing that I do need to think about is a pit strategy. And I'll tell you what, since these cautions have been coming out, I don't think there's going to be concern. These guys, I think they might be good to go for the rest of the race, but still about 25 laps left, so plenty of time for things to change.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be one of those races where they're going to probably come in maybe with about like 7 or 8 laps to go, and everyone will have to come down. But I don't know. I have no clue what's going to happen. We're doing a completely different pit frequency this year, and everything is, you know, foreign to us on the pit strategy. So I wasn't good at it before, and I'm definitely not going to be good at it this year. But either way, some other guys running up front. Igor Barreto running second. Angel Olvera is running in the 3rd position. You got side by side between the 4 of Christian Russell and the number 29 machine of Nick Smith. Great run for Nick Smith. Al Agassi's up here. Jeremiah Earls, he was deep in the field at Daytona. He's in the top 10 right now. And then you got the 21, Nathan Faden. How about Marty Johnson up here in the number 9? He's another one of those veteran drivers of the IndyCar Series. We don't have many of them. But Marty Johnson, Davey Johnson, and Al Agassi, they're all on each other right here. They've all been in this series for multiple years, and they're definitely looking really strong. I mean, you raced against them. You know these guys are pretty good in the series, and they haven't gotten involved in anything, and they're just outside the top 10 here at Phoenix.
The balance between experience and youth is certainly providing an entertaining show right now. It's going to be interesting to see which one prevails today. Last week we saw Davey Johnson, was it, who won at Daytona. That was a case of experience winning. We'll see if the youth can step up here today.
And I think Justin Zeidel is one of those in the experience category. This is his second full-time season in the IndyCar Series. He's been racing since 2017 on Napa Fan. Igor Barreto as well has been in this series a long time. But that guy and that guy, Angel Oliveira, Christian Russell, they're pretty new to Napa Fan. And here they are, top 5, running at Phoenix. And pretty tough race to pass at this point. They've all closed right in on Zeidel, but you see what Zeidel's doing, running that outside lane, getting the run off at turn 4. He keeps on pulling away from Igor Barreto, and at this point, he might have led the most laps, and that's an extra 2 points towards the championship. And if Zeidel gets this win, which he might not, here comes Barreto to the inside. Zeidel with a shot at getting the points lead if he gets the victory here today, but Igor Barreto has other plans, and right to the inside. That was a very, very well-orchestrated pass by Igor Barreto, now leading here at Phoenix.
Zeidel, he's really not in that bad of a spot after that. He's right behind him. I think in a lap or two, he could be back out in the front because they're going nuts behind him for 3rd place. Here comes the 28. He's making his way forward, too.
Justin, or should I say, Jonathan King in the 28 wasn't even in the top 5 a moment ago. Now he's 3rd. I think he's going pretty well. Another yellow on the racetrack. And I don't know what happened, but it looks like some of those guys who we were talking about earlier on, Davey Johnson, Marty Johnson, looks like they've fallen back. They might have gotten into each other. You see Davey Johnson coming down the pit lane. And our 3rd caution of the race here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Justin Zeidel will be 2nd as Igor Barreto won the race back to the line. I think you got to watch out for Jonathan King. He really moved his way through the field during that green flag run. He is going to be 3rd. We'll have to see. If they don't come down the pit lane here, that should be a sign they should be able to make it to the end, and I don't see him coming down, so with this caution, they should be able to save enough fuel to the end without it being a problem. So let's hope that's the case, and let's hope we get a good run to the finish for these guys, because they've been racing very well here at Phoenix. Only our 3rd caution, and for Phoenix standards, that's pretty good. So, great race here at Phoenix so far. Igor Barreto leading. We'll have to see what happened to Davey Johnson, last week's winner at Daytona. It doesn't look like it's going to be a race victory for him here today at Phoenix, and I believe Marty Johnson as well was caught up in that one. The Johnsons not having the best of days here. They were running in the top 10. Let's see what happened to them to bring out the 3rd caution of the race here in the Phoenix Grand Prix. Well, we were talking about the experience of Davey Johnson and Marty Johnson, but Davey shooting the middle, clipping Marty Johnson and getting into Jeremiah Earls, and the 12 had absolutely nothing he could do. And he got sent around in the outside wall with Davey Johnson and Marty Johnson. A tough break for both of those guys. All those guys were running inside the top 15 at least once this occurred. But they are definitely not going to finish there after that one. They're going to be sent to the end of the field, and it's a tough break for the 12 of Jeremiah Earls. Had a great run going for him after he had his 29th place run at Daytona. Might be close to that here today at Phoenix.
And 3 wide entering turn 1. Really just a tough spot for any driver to be in. And Davey Johnson, he really just kind of shot the gap there and completely missed the corner entry. I mean, you're inches away from everybody, so you can't really afford to make a mistake in that situation. Had a little bit of activity there with Andre Baranowskis and Davey Johnson, but just a wild race here at Phoenix so far.
Wasn't as wild today as it was last year here, at least up to this point, but either way, I think we're in store for a wild finish. I mean, we saw what Igor Barreto was able to do on Justin Zeidel. He just drove right by him. We have a possibility for someone like that coming to the restart. So who you got in this one? We got Igor Barreto, Justin Zeidel, Jonathan King, Nick Smith. A lot of those guys have been around for a while. They're all pretty experienced. Think one of those 4 is going to get the win?
I think there's a good chance, but it's just all a matter of timing, and that cycle is what we talked about at the beginning. That inside line is still I must say I trust that a little bit more in the outside line. At some points of the race, depends on which line really has more cars on it, but we'll see how this plays out.
We will. It's going to be about 12 laps to go when we restart here at Phoenix, I do believe. Maybe a little bit more. So it's not going to be much time for these guys to move their way from the back to the front. It is going to be intense for the race win in the second race of the season. Igor Barretto, the race leader. Let's see what he does on the restart here at Phoenix. So we're going to have 13 laps to go when we restart here at Phoenix, so have to see how it all plays out. I just don't know. I mean, these guys might have to come back and pit for fuel. I just have no idea what's going to happen here in these next 13 laps. It's all a mystery to me. Igor Barretto is going to be the leader with Justin Zaidel, Jonathan King, Nick Smith, and Angel Olvera. You got Christian Russell up there, Al Lagasse as well. His teammate Nathan Faden. The 98 of Cody Smart is 9th, and Micah Knapp is 10th. Where did those guys come from? See if they go anywhere else here at Phoenix. Igor Barretto holds on. Zaidel right behind him for second. He might try to dive to the inside, entering turn number 3 for the race lead, and he will, but Barretto's going to have the run on the outside. Side by side for the race lead here at Phoenix with 12 laps to go in the Phoenix Grand Prix.
As long as Zaidel stays side by side entering turn number 1, I think he's going to have the advantage right here, but he's got to try and complete the pass here off turn 2.
They're still side by side. Justin Zaidel, he has come on strong in these first 2 races. He won the opener last season in the Haas IndyCar Series at Riverside. He almost won at Daytona 3 weeks ago, and now he's leading with 11 laps to go in the second race of the season at Phoenix. But I told you, watch out for Jonathan King. Right to the inside of Zaidel he goes. He got around Igor Barretto easily. And now Jonathan King, who has won a Chick-fil-A Cup Series race here before, by the way. He knows how to get it done at this racetrack. He is now the new race leader, coming to 10 laps to go at Phoenix. And just like that, Jonathan King's the guy to beat here in the second race of the season.
Now, but I think Zaidel's going to be able to get him back here soon. But Jonathan King using that outside line, I'll tell you what. The leaders have been doing that a lot today. I think it's just by preference with the clean air in front of them. Zaidel's going to get back to the bottom right here for the lead. Can he hang on?
He might. He pushed King a little bit up the racetrack, and Zaidel's back to the point here at Phoenix with 9 laps to go. It's a duel in the desert here for the Haas IndyCar Series, and a great one at that. Some excellent racing here. Zaidel holding on. King is now second as they're 3 wide. Olvera to the inside. Lagasse and Nick Smith. They got to be careful here. Oh, boy. Nick Smith got his tire in the outside wall, but he hangs on. He's going to lose a lot of ground, though. A tough break for Nick Smith. Had a great run going for him. Not going to end that way here today for the veteran driver. Most likely, Cody Smart's up here as well, I believe. No, that is Igor Barretto. Cody Smart's right back in here. Just inside the top 10, but either way, Zaidel and King battling for the race lead. Who do you think is going to get it done here at Phoenix?
I think Jonathan King's going to have a good shot right now. I like the person who's in second place at any point in this. As long as they're able to stay ahead of the rest of the pack by a decent distance, it's going to be one of these two. But that's not going to be very easy to do because the rest of the field, they're coming.
They are. Angel Olvera, Micah Knapp out of nowhere for third to the inside of Angel Olvera. He might have some fresh tires on that Schmidt-Peterson machine, and he is going places. I think he restarted 9th, and in just a few laps, he has gained 6 positions to move up to third, and he's drafting right behind Jonathan King, hoping to push him to the race lead so he can go to second. But how about Micah Knapp out of nowhere? Right now in the top 3 as they're side by side for the race lead. I think King barely got it as we have 5 laps to go with Phoenix.
Well, now it's time.
King's going to clear right there.
Do not want to get trapped second place or behind if a caution comes out.
If a caution comes out now, the race is going to end, so they got to get up front now. Zaidel slipping up just a little bit. He doesn't want to finish second again, but Jonathan King would love another Phoenix victory on Napa Fan. How about Christian Russell up to the 3rd position in the number 4 to the inside of Micah Knapp. Great run for Russell here today, and one of his few starts on Napa Fan as well. He is definitely showing a lot of promise here today at Phoenix. Here comes Zaidel, looking to get back to the inside of Jonathan King. It's been these two guys the entire green flag run, and now 3 laps to go for Jonathan King in the Phoenix Grand Prix. Zaidel looking back to the inside.
It right here. If Seidel gets the inside, Jonathan King. King's going to be in some serious trouble.
He is. It's getting too late for King to move back to the inside, and there goes Seidel. This is through turns 3 and 4. King should get the run up top, and he will. He's going to clear him. It's 2 to go for Jonathan King. It's far from over for Justin Seidel.
Certainly helped Jonathan King. If he's going to win this race, it was 100% because of that, but Justin Seidel, he's still within range here for this last lap.
It's going to be one of these two guys. I don't think Christian Russell's going to have enough for Seidel or King. Seidel trying to run a lower line. That's going to allow King to pull away just a little bit more. White flag for Jonathan King at Phoenix. A great run for him here today. And I don't think Seidel's going to have enough for him. He's pulled back just enough that King can drive away with this thing. One final corner for Justin Seidel. But he's just not going to be able to do it. Jonathan King in the number 28. A bold move to take the lead. Gets it done at Phoenix in the second race of the season in the Haas IndyCar Series 2019.
What a race, and ultimately it came down to the two fastest cars, Justin Seidel and Jonathan King. They worked their way up through the field in the first half of the race, and they never looked back from there. What a battle between those two, but at the end of the day, it was Jonathan King, that big power run on the outside coming to 2 laps to go. That's going to be the reason why he wins today.
And if we look back on the pit stops, I venture to say he took tires because he was able to drive his way from the back to the front very well to get him in that position for the final restart. And from third, he was able to surpass those guys and take the lead and the win away. Had the battle with Seidel. He switched positions with him a couple of times there, but he was able to pull away with the victory, and that right there was by far the best Phoenix race I have ever had in the Haas IndyCar Series. That was fun. That was a true race right there. Wasn't a wreck fest like I thought it would be. I'm really happy about that. Even though we had 3 cautions, I think everybody still finished the race, so a lot to be said right there out of these guys. They raced a really clean race for Phoenix standards in the IndyCar Series, and Jonathan King gets it done ahead of Justin Seidel, Christian Russell, Micah Knapp, and Cody Smart. Micah Knapp and Cody Smart came out of nowhere to get top 5s here today. That is great for those guys. Al Lagasse, Igor Barreto, Nick Smith, Angel Oliveira, Nathan Faden, the top 10. And a couple of guys who were running up front in this race, Joe Rutkowski and Dan Park. Rutkowski finished 19th, not bad considering he wrecked, and Dan Park ended up finishing 22nd. But once they wrecked and fell to the back of the field, they just couldn't move their way from the back to the front because of the damage, and just because it was difficult to do that here today at Phoenix.
Yeah, it just became super tough for those guys to recover from, and I think they're kind of relying on that wreck fest to perhaps improve their finishing results. And I remember thinking throughout the race, well, you know, even though some of those guys had problems, they should still be able to have a decent day as long as they keep it clean the rest of the distance. But we did not have all kinds of trouble like we were kind of expecting heading into this.
We were not, and like I said, everybody finished. Not everyone finished on the lead lap, but everyone finished, and we definitely have not had that here in any prior Phoenix race in the IndyCar Series. So, hey, that was fun. I enjoyed that race, and Jonathan King definitely enjoyed it. That's his second career Phoenix win on Napa Fan. He's got a win here in the IndyCar Series, and he won in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series back in Season 6, so King knows this place pretty well, and great to see him back in victory lane. And he's one of those experienced guys as well, so it was pretty cool seeing those experienced guys battle it out, and that's the future of Napa fans. Seeing these guys who've been around a little while, they're going to be the new veterans here soon, and I mean, they are the new veterans. Who am I kidding? They definitely showed their stuff here today at Phoenix. And Jonathan King get 50 points, plus a bonus point for leading a lap, and I don't know if he led the most laps in this race or not, but he might have, so we'll have to see how it all shakes out on the point standings, which you guys will see very soon. But final thoughts on this one. I expected the crash fest. We really didn't get it, but we got a really intense race instead.
Yeah, here's my final thoughts. I mean, pretty much the racing was kind of how I expected it to go with the multi-groove inside-outside battle. But at the end of the day, the reason why Jonathan King won, and I've said this a couple times already, I'm going to say it again, that outside run he got in turns 3 and 4, we've seen drivers get that all day long and in prior seasons at Phoenix, and it really worked out for the right time at King in that one. But overall, just what a race. I mean, phenomenal one. First one we've commentated together, and then I mean, that was pretty much about as good as you could have asked for here at Phoenix.
Absolutely. And if you thought this race was good, Wait till next Saturday morning. IndyCar Series heads to Auto Club. It's the first time we're actually going to Auto Club since the opener of 2017. We were supposed to have the finale there last season, and San Benito had already clinched the championship. I wasn't up to doing the race. I wasn't up to doing the series last year. I was just too busy, basically, last year, and didn't get to it. But it's going to be the third race of the season. The MAV TV 100 returns, and it's a crown jewel event. There aren't any bonus points for it being a crown jewel event, but there will be a crown jewel championship, kind of like a triple crown thing. It's going to be Auto Club, Indianapolis, and the finale at Pocono. And it's going to be a 100-mile race, 50 laps there at Auto Club. It's going to be the premier event next weekend. The Chick-fil-A Cup Series race is Friday night there, and then the IndyCar Series is Saturday morning. So it's going to be a fun weekend at Auto Club, because we also have IROC as well. They're showing up for the Thursday night race, 25 laps there at Auto Club. So it's going to be a great weekend at Auto Club next weekend. It's going to be a great race tomorrow for the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, the Casual 500K. It's going to be 63 laps of this stuff, and Diego Pez starts on the pole. We'll have to see what he can do if he can get his first career Chick-fil-A Cup Series win. I don't think it's going to be as crazy as this one. It's going to be a little bit harder to pass in those cars, but that outside lane is still going to work out in that Chick-fil-A Cup Series race, so watch out for it tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Luke, for joining me. Great to have you on. You did a great job. Go ahead and check out Luke Rainey. He does a lot of energetic stuff as well. And a lot of people, including myself, think he's a really good commentator. Just as good as I am. I don't think I'm good. You guys think I'm good. That is you guys saying that. But I think Luke's better than me. So go ahead and check him out. He does a good job. And thank you for joining me once again. So congratulations to Jonathan King on the race victory. Here are the point standings for the Haas IndyCar Series. After 2 races, yeah, we still got ourselves 14 races left in this series, by the way. And, yeah, that is it for me. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for the Casual 500K in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. On behalf of Luke Rainey, thank you guys very much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later. It's loud and